Welcome everyone to today's special edition of Nourishing Our Body and Soul. And for this episode, I am thrilled to be joined by Cristofer Pereyra, founder of the Tepeyac Leadership Initiative and a key voice behind the Hour of the Lady. Christopher, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Cherry. It's an honor to be here.
All right, sir. So you've made an incredible impact through the Tepeyac Leadership Initiative, equipping Catholic professionals integrate faith into their leadership roles. Can you tell us a bit about how this initiative started and what inspired you to create this such initiative?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. The impact, I think, and all the credit from the fruits of our program is all the Lord's. It's all the Lord's. And of course, through the beautiful intercession of Our Lady of Guadalupe and Saint Juan Diego, who are the two patron saints of our program. The inspiration comes from them. We find much inspiration in the story of Juan Diego. I don't know how familiar you may be with this, Cherry, a native man, an Aztec man of Mexico, who many years ago received a mission of leadership from Our Lady. He was a layperson. He didn't think much of himself. He never thought of himself capable of being a leader, of accomplishing anything too great. But Our Lady used him in such a way to give God all the glory and bring so many souls to the church in the American continent, to rebuild the church. So we are using the story of San Juan Diego as an inspiration for lay men and women around the world, in every continent, to foment lay Catholic leadership. So this is a brand of leadership, a vision of leadership that is unique because it's lay Catholic leadership for civil society, for the world, for the secular world.
Wow, that's amazing, and that's really how God works in His own way, touching the lives of the people, not only through the religious. So I know that God is also working not only for the religious, and I am so glad that I found this initiative of yours, the Tepeyac leadership. So, from this, can you please give us the clear program that has been significant success? How does the Hour of the Lady conference align with your mission at the Tepeyac Leadership Initiative?
Excellent question, Cherry. So our organization is called Tepeyac Leadership. We're a national, really an international apostolate founded here in the United States. And so for the past 8 years, we've had one platform to advance our mission. Our mission is to form leaders. One mission, very clear, to form leaders, lay Catholic leaders for civil society. And we have been doing that through our TLI program, Tepeyac Leadership Initiative program, for the past 8 years. So since last year, we have launched a second platform, and that is the Hour of the Laity Conference. That we are now on year 2. This November 7th to the 9th will be the second year of our conference. And it becomes another opportunity for lay Catholics to come and experience our formation. It's a much more compressed experience. It's just a weekend conference, Thursday to Saturday. And so people will get, really, they will be submerged in a very impactful, highly impactful formation experience. They'll be able to network and connect with other Catholic professionals, Catholic leaders from around the world. And I mean, I'm telling you that last year we've had people from Finland, from the UK, from France, from Pakistan, travel to the United States for our events, for our formation experiences. So the conference is really a beautiful experience for those who are seeking to grow as leaders and to grow in their interior life as well, in their relationship with Christ. But it's a very It's a highly impactful, compressed 1 weekend experience, while the TLI program is a 5 month program. It's a much more in depth, 18 weeks, 3 hour sessions for 18 weeks or 5 months in the spring. And that's definitely our flagship program where we send everybody, encourage everybody to participate, to receive the formation. So both are two platforms that are doing and advancing one mission, and the mission is to form leaders.
Wow, that's an awesome initiative and formation by a lay person. And as I just remembered the gospel reading today as Jesus commissioned his apostles, and you are actually promoting this, commissioning the leaders that are attending, just following what Jesus did. And I am so proud and I'm so glad that I will be part of this. So, Chris, can you please give us more on your experience as initiative leader of this? From your perspective, what are the most critical challenges facing Catholic professionals today, especially when trying to integrate their faith into their workplace experience?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something, Cherry. There are so many challenges today. It's hard to know where to start, but I think I would say that um, even though most people will point out to the ideologies that have infested really the secular world, every area of secular society, business, government, education, healthcare, no matter what it is, news media, entertainment, particularly entertainment, politics, is really infested with ideologies. Marxism, wokeism, there's gender ideology. The list just goes on, and this is many of these start in Europe or in the United States, and then they spread all over the world. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think there is a country that is immune to this right now. And this is definitely the experience in the workplace. Catholic professionals in the workplace have to deal with this, have to deal with this pressure to um, to bow down to all of these ideologies that are being imposed as policies, as company policies that everybody needs to accept and sign into. Um, However, there are ways to deal with this, and this is definitely what we touch on during the program. But I would say that the biggest challenge I encountered to be the prosperity that a Catholic professional can attain sometimes can be the reason for this person to turn their backs on God, or maybe distance him or herself from God. Unfortunately, prosperity, I have learned that is a big reason why people are no longer become lukewarm, are no longer on fire and passionate about their faith and faithful, because perhaps they feel that they don't need God. They have been blessed in such a way that maybe they are mistaken into believing that they have accomplished it by themselves with no
Mhm.
help from God, that they don't need God anymore because they have things under control. They have solvency, they have means, and maybe they think, well, I don't really need to spend that much time with God. And this is a mistake. This is a big mistake. And I have seen the most successful people at the top of their industry fall simply because they turn their backs on God. So this is one of the things, if our faith is strong, if we are connected to Christ, to the vine, we're going to be able to navigate all the turbulent waters of the workplace, all of these ideologies, all of this wokeism, all of the things that are being thrown at us. God will guide us and protect us and help us navigate all of this. But if we have turned our backs on God, if we're really away from the faith, if we're not practicing our faith, if we're not faithful to our Catholic values, then that's really the danger of being disconnected from our Lord, from our prayer life, from the sacraments, away from all of this. It weakens us. It really, our strength is in the sacraments, which is how we continue to receive God's grace. So if we're not strong and committed and consistent in our prayer life, in our sacramental life, we're useless to the church. We're useless to God. We cannot be effective Catholic leaders in the world.
Wow, that's powerful reminder for all the aspiring leaders and leaders right now. So, how do you see lay leadership transforming the future of the Catholic Church, the Universal Church, as well as the American leadership?
Absolutely. Our vision is for the United States and the rest of the world. We start here because we were founded here, we're headquartered here, but really our vision is global. And what we see is that we can and should get back to the basics, the way it was at the beginning. Cherry, I'm talking about the early Christians. The early Christians. Remember the early Christians, because the church started with 12, and those that surrounded those 12, the 12 that were hand chosen by Christ, and they looked at the world, they looked at the Roman Empire, and they said, let's go, let's conquer this for Christ. And they didn't have the tremendous infrastructure that we have today. They didn't have the Catholic universities and schools and hospitals and everything, the chanceries and bishops palaces and offices and everything that we have today. They didn't have this. They didn't have any of this. And how did they do it? How did they do it? Well, the early Christians, whether they were whether a Christian was a carpenter or a tent maker, whatever his job or her job or occupation was, a Christian would do his work with love, striving for perfection, and offering up his work daily to God. They really strive to do their work to the best of their capacity, with integrity, with professionalism, so that the early Christians became esteemed members of their community, of their society. People looked up to them. People admired Christians because of the way they carried themselves as professionals, as whatever occupation or trade they had, whether they were artisans, whatever they were doing, the way that they connected and carried themselves in their own community and outside the Christian community with the rest of society. And so they became esteemed members of their community. They became looked up high upon. They became leaders. They began to influence others because of the way, because of the joy in their lives. People would wonder about the joy in their heart. And this was very attractive. This is how the early Christians did it. They became leaders. Today, we have a difficult time understanding or even accepting the notion that as lay Catholics we're called to be leaders, because we know that we must be humbled and that we're followers of Christ. And this is correct. But true humility is knowing ourselves with our shortcomings and our gifts and talents. And when we seek to become influential leaders in society, and we do it for the right reasons, not to have our own light shine bright, but to be mirrors that reflect the light of Christ, when we do that, we position ourselves in into a privileged place where we can influence more people when we become leaders. We get to sit at the tables where decisions are made, these decisions that are changing the culture, and we can have a faithful and committed Catholic voice sitting at that table where decisions are being made. This is why it's so important.
Wow, that's amazingly, absolutely. That transforming workplace into a worship place, a work to worship God, making our work as a form of worship. Very nice insight and vision. Okay, so as someone who's been so deeply involved in Catholic leaders, what advice would you like to give to young Catholic leaders discerning their role in the church and in society?
My advice to young Catholic leaders would be to not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Trust in the Lord and ground yourself in your Catholic faith. We have everything we need to transform the world. We have the teachings, the timeless wisdom of the teachings of the church, Catholic social doctrine, the dignity of the human person, which can be our compass as leaders. This is our compass. We don't need to reinvent the wheel and find the answers elsewhere. We have the wisdom of the church to lead us as our compass. If we're connected with Christ, with a committed plan for spiritual life, a consistent and committed structured plan for spiritual life, prayer, and the sacraments, and we're grounded on our faith, we can be fearless. We can do anything with the Lord, and we can transform the world. One saint can change a city, a country. One saint. All we need is to be saints. That's what God created us for. And we must not fear it. We must not be afraid of the universal call to holiness, of the church's invitation, God's invitation to become a saint. Because all a saint is somebody who sincerely keeps trying, daily, sincerely keeps trying. We're going to fall. I fall in the mud all the time. And we're going to dirty ourselves. And we'll go and seek Christ again in the sacrament of confession. And then we'll keep going sincerely, keep trying until the end. That is our calling. It's not to be successful, like Mother Teresa says. We were not called to be successful. We were called to be faithful.
Wow. That's wonderful advice, Chris. And now shifting gears a bit, what can attendees expect from the year's Hour of the Ladies conference, and how can a Catholic professionals benefit from participating in this convergence or event?
So the Hour of the Laity conference is really a tremendous opportunity to connect with other Catholic leaders, Catholic professionals from around the world, and to tap into resources and receive formation and guidance on how to be effective lay Catholic leaders in civil society. It's a powerful experience. It's a beautiful experience. The Holy Spirit is the guest of honor, and you can feel his presence at the event. However, particularly for people in the Philippines or different parts around the world, I would encourage them to consider the TLI program. Not everybody has the opportunity to travel for the conference. So those who can, they're welcome to join us for the Hour of the Laity. But those who cannot, we invite them to consider participating in the TLI program, which is a program that one can be part of remotely, because the sessions are live, but they're virtual. And one can do the entire program remotely if traveling is a challenge. So this is how we are forming lay Catholic leaders all over the world. And this is my invitation. On October 3rd, we're going to have an open house that people can tune in to learn about TLI. And October 1st to November 10th is the window where people can apply for admission to participate in the program, which runs in the spring, February to June.
Wow. That sounds fantastic. Before we wrap up, Christopher, what do you hope to see as the lasting impact of the Tepeyac Leadership Initiative and the Hour of the Lady? This would be their takeaway, and this can be the most essential learning that they can get from this Leadership Initiative conference.
Absolutely. Our ultimate goal, Cherry, the vision behind our movement to form lay Catholic leaders for civil society. If you tell me, what would you like to see 10 years, 20 years from now as the fruit from the program, the fruit that God has brought about from our program, from our TLI program and the Hour of the Laity conference, really what we would like to see is a renewed and re-energized laity, a laity that is now a lot more conscious of its duty to lead in civil society. What we're trying to do is change the chip in the minds of lay Catholics, particularly lay Catholic professionals, and help them understand that they have a mission to lead. And we need to understand that this is part of our baptismal vows. This is just part of our Christian vocation. Because we are children of God, all of us, the baptized, are called to lead. Because we're followers of Christ, we're called to lead others to Christ. So we want to re energize, encourage, empower the laity to go out and influence the world with the values of the gospel as leaders.
Wow, that's an inspiring vision, Christopher. So thank you so much for sharing your insight today and for all the work you're working and doing for the greater glory of God to empower Catholic leaders. We look forward to seeing what's next to the Tepeyac Leadership Initiative, and I hope that hopefully in the coming November 7th, 8th, there will be more Catholic professionals who will join this conference. Please invite them once again to join this very honorable or very noble profession and amazing conference.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
So where can they get this link where they can have this chance to attend? Can you please give them more information on how they can join and participate this conference?
Yes, the link for the Hour of the Laity conference is thlconference.org. And the link to the TLI program is tliprogram.org. I'm sure you can post the links when you share the video so that people can just click on them.
All right, I will. So thank you so much once again for your time sharing this very wonderful opportunity for the Catholic professionals honing their talents in leadership. God bless your ministry.
Thank you,
God bless
Jerry.
us all. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode of the Nourishing Our Body and Soul. And hopefully, we will be able to journey together, not only in faith, but also in our leadership.